channel. Today I am finally back with another Warhammer 40,000 Codex ASMR video, and this time it is the most requested Warhammer Codex here on my channel. I got a hold of the Orks Codex, so there will be a lot of Waaghs in this video. This codex is not that big. It's a bit of a slimmer codex, and I have been looking forward so much to doing this soft-spoken ASMR video. I really do enjoy the Orks faction. I must say they are my second favorite after the Tyranids. This will be a very fun video to make, so I hope you will sit back and relax. Thank you for watching. Here it finally is, the Warhammer 40,000 Codex for the Orks. Really love this cover of the book. Here we go. Orks fall upon their foes like an avalanche, a vast horde of barbaric green-skinned warriors wielding an assortment of crude but deadly weapons. All orks live for fighting. They are addicted to the sound of gunfire, to speeding about in ramshackle vehicles, and to violence and brutality in all its forms. Their murderous rampage are a deadly threat to the galaxy and all its inhabitants. Though woefully disorganized, they are resilient, resourceful, and incredibly numerous, able to build weapons of war from salvaged scrap, and nearly impossible to eradicate. The orks will come back time and time again until their foes are completely annihilated. Some beautiful green tinted orc art. Orks. Taka taka taka. Wow. We have some contents. Introduction to barbarous hordes. Ork warbands, forces of the orks, and forces of the orks continued, and appendix. This is copyrighted from 2014, so it's not the latest codex, but it's still a beautiful one. Introduction. Orks live for battle and want nothing more than to fight and to kill. Their resilience and belligerence are but unmatched by the other races of the galaxy, and their immeasurable numbers threaten to crush all who stands against them. The orks are formidable enemies to face in battle, each a brutal, simplistic, and highly aggressive warrior. For these barbaric monsters, war is its own reward. They believe above all that might makes right, and will fight whoever and whatever they have in order to prove it. Their ultra-violent sense of humor and incredible tolerance for injury mean that death and loss are almost meaningless concepts to the orks. Most greenskins think little about the future, and are content to fight, eat and steal whatever they want, then fight some more. Yet, when an especially powerful war boss rises up from the hordes to command the tribes, the orks are driven into a frenzy of conquest that can consume the stars in a green tidal wave of violence and destruction, a terrifying orc Waaagh that few in its path will survive. Here is the same art as the green tinted one, but in a more colorized, original way. The barbarous hordes. Greenskins are one of the most dangerous alien races to plague the galaxy. Numerous beyond belief and driven always to fight and conquer, the greenskins threaten every single race in the galaxy. Orcs are possibly the most warlike aliens in the 41st millennium, and their number is beyond counting. Amid constant seething tides of war and bloodshed, burgeoning orc empires rise and fall. Mercifully, most of the short-lived, soon destroying themselves in a maelstrom of violence. But should the orcs ever truly unify, they would crush all opposition. The orcs' unquenchable thirst for battle has always proved their downfall historically. The orc tribes have spent much of their time fighting amongst themselves, waging brutal wars with only the strongest surviving. The orc. Orcs have but one philosophy: might makes right. They believe that the weak must suffer the rule of the strong. Over the countless millennia in which the greenskins have waged their wars, not one orc has ever doubted this for a single moment. The unshakable self-belief is perhaps the most dangerous quality of the orcs, for they will never give up until they plunge the galaxy into an eternal war. The orcs rule their barbaric civilization with an iron fist. Ugly and violent creatures, they are dominant life form of a race that includes the smaller Gretchen and the snotling subspecies. Orcs see themselves as the toughest race in the galaxy, mightier by far than humans, Eldar or Tau. To prove their point, the orcs are more than willing to fight and kill everything that crosses their path. The simple life. One of the greatest strengths of the orcs possess is the simplicity in which they approach their existence. For an orc, the universe is an incredibly straightforward place, free of the angst and worry that plagues most other races. Orcs don't try to influence their own destiny and get frustrated when plans don't go to work out as expected. They don't look for something to blame, except perhaps the nearest Gretchen or a hatred rival tribe. The Green Menace. From pirate enclaves to system-spanning empires, orc holdings are as varied as they are steeped in violence. When they invade a planet or star system, greenskins bring with them a belligerent ecosystem that overwhelms each conquered world, as surely as the orcs themselves crush its defenders. Here are a little bit about the Gretchen, snotling, and squigs. Although they possess a similar physiology to the orcs, Gretchens are not as strong or as tough as their larger brethren. To compensate for this, the Gretchen possesses an abundance of low cunning, commonly known as grots. Gretchens are even more numerous than the orcs. Snotlings or snots looks like tiny immature Gretchen. Their scrawny limbs are too small to bear weapons larger or more complicated than shards of broken glass or chunks of scrap. Lacking the violent tendencies of the larger kin, they make for very poor soldiers indeed, and are predominantly kept as little more than pets for their orc masters, although they make excellent ammunition for the strange weapons the orcs call the shock attack. squigs, or squiggly beasts, are an integral part of the mobile and incredibly aggressive green screen ecosystem. The squigs eat the refuse of the orcs, not to mention local plants, animals, and quite often each other. And the orcs eat the squigs. There are many forms of squig, and each variety incorporates the many subtypes. Green skin expansion. The galaxy is vast beyond the imaginings of the most ambitious despot. Yet this does not daunt the orcs, as they simply don't think about it. Instead, they plow from one conquest to the next, secure in the knowledge that one day they will rule it all. Wherever humans have traveled, they have found orcs. It has been 10,000s of years since humanity first encountered them, and in that time mankind has fought countless bloody wars against these savage aliens, and there is no likelihood that this state of affairs will ever change. Here is a beautiful, beautiful map. Distribution of primary orc enclaves. This schematic below shows the current major concentrations of orcoid presence in the charted galaxy. Active Waaghs are shown with directional arrows to denote the prevailing path of the conquest thus far. We have some key high levels of orc infestation. Active Waaagh. Forge World, Astra Militarium, Space Marine World, Night World, Miscalculations. Here we have a Waaagh. Bork Desperation. Another Waaagh. Wastaka. Here is another Waaagh. We have many Waaghs. Waaagh Gazgul and Waaagh Nastrek. Waaagh Urkak. I feel so silly saying that in a soft-spoken or whispered ASMR way. Waaagh Korporat. We have many Waaghs. Here in the middle is the Maelstrom. We have Terra over here. The cool stars. I really want to find a larger Warhammer map to make a video with in the future. Greenskin culture. The orc way of life is as straightforward and brutal as the orcs themselves. Much like their approach to everything else, orcs do not waste time pondering why they do things or how they might do them better. Instead, they simply act, instinct and ability driving them on a never-ending cycle of violence and conquest. Orcs have their own distinct culture or culture, as the orcs call it, the origins of which are lost in the dim and distant past, though likely a corruption of whatever may have come before. By and large it functions very well. Perhaps this is because the fundamental tenet of their society is a simple one that even the most pea-brained snotling can understand. Might makes right. I'm really getting sold on the orcish life. Here we have some orc glyphs. The orc language is written in a form of glyphic script. The core of the script is composed of glyphs that indicate clan, tribe, monarch, concepts and elements of orc names. This is augmented by phonetic symbols which can be used to write most orc words, along with any alien names or words. We have bad, blit, boss, taka, kol, kop, kof, kor, grim, grot, grot, mek, mor, nas, nob, orts, ork, ruk, skraka, skuld, snik, squig, stomp, thief, tuff, ork, waaagh, warp, Waaagh, weon, suk, suk. And the different glyphs. This is super interesting. I'm really getting into it. It's like the Tolkien Elvish language almost. Tribes and clans. The orcs are an incredibly anarchic race. Their armies and settlements seem utterly disorganized to outside eyes. Yet, in truth, orc society is governed by a rugged set of tired and tested traditions that no greenskin would ever consider changing. Orcs thrive on conflict. The strongest rise to the top, while the weak become subservient and benefit from the superior leadership and head-kicking skills of their conquerors. To an orc, this state of affairs is perfectly satisfactory. If an orc tribe is beaten by another stronger tribe, the defeated orcs welcome the opportunity to be led into battle by a new warlord of even greater power. Then we have goths. A goth likes nothing more than hearing the hammering of guns and that satisfying wet crunch when his choppa finds its way deep into a throat or chest of an enemy. They will seize upon any excuse to start a brawl, even amongst themselves, and often all it takes is a misinterpreted glance in their general direction or grunted insult to start with their fist flying, the boys quickly forgetting the reason for the bust-up and simply enjoying the resulting fight. Evil Sons. The orcs belonging to the Evil Sons clan are irreversibly attracted to every conceivable kind of fast vehicle, be it low-sprung buggies, monstrous warbikes, or supersonic aircraft. Evil Sons will spend every tooth they possess in order to own them. Bad Moons. The Bad Moons are the richest of all of the orc clans. This is because their teeth grow faster than anyone else's, meaning that the even lowliest Bad Moon orc has a steady supply of wealth. This is not regarded as an unfair advantage, as any orc who is big and ferocious enough can simply smash the teeth out of a Bad Moon's head. Considered backward by the more technologically minded tribes, snakebites still follow the old ways, scorning complicated matters like making their own guns or vehicles. The clan put their faith in things they can trust: a good bit of sharpened bone, a stick, or a nice keen-edged chopper. Blood axes. The other clans view the blood axes with an uneasy sense of distrust. They trade openly with Imperium's more isolated worlds, plan their battles in advance, and even consider retreat to be something done on purpose. Death Skulls. The Death Skulls are plunderers without equal. They are tremendously adept at looting, borrowing, scorching, scavenging, and stealing things from the fellow orcs, and notoriously bad at giving them back. The freebooters. Man, I'm really getting sold at the orcs. I think I'm starting to even enjoy them more than the Tyranids. This is a little bit crazy. Orcs freebooters are notorious pirates and thieves, plying on the void in smoking, sparkling ships with the intent of causing as much mayhem and destruction as possible. They prey upon anyone foolish enough to stray into their hunting grounds, screaming out in the dark of plumes of fire to blast apart their foes. This is so silly and crazy, I love it. Gathering the Waaagh. An orc Waaagh is war on an apocalyptic scale. Orcs beyond, counting swarms from one world to the next. Whole civilizations are exterminated and defenders' armies laid to waste as the orcs plow ever onward in an unstoppable tide. Orcs need battle just as humans need food and drink. Due to their warlike nature, they constantly fight amongst themselves or launch piratical raids upon nearby enemies. Such conflicts tend to be at small scale or localized. They never really develop beyond random outbursts of violence and mass looting. However, orc population can reach a critical mass that leads to full-scale planetary migration. This is known as a Waaagh, a crusade of pure aggression that crashes throughout the star system in an orgy of violence. Waaagh, the Butcher of Obstridia, the Bane of Eirok, and the Scourge of the Sanctus Reach. These are all named earned by war boss Gruk face Rippa for his bloody deeds, rumored to be blessed by Grok himself. Gruk has never lost a battle, the brutish war boss smashing his way from one world to the next, always looking for the next big scrap. And over here is a little map of Gruk's rampage. Sanctus, Perandil, Obstyria, Guliansen, Malakai Morka, Galactic Prime, Square's Rest, and the Wrath of Kork. Warbands of Waaagh, Gruk. As Gruk's legend grew, many tribes of the orcs flocked to his banner, eager to fight in the great battles that this new warlord would lead them into. What began as 2 tribes on Eirok and a few thousand boys would grow into a sector-spanning Waaagh of billions of orcs, capable of bringing ruin and death to whole worlds. Split green bad moons. All bad moons orcs have a well-dressed reputation for being as proud of their loot as of their prowess in battle. They split green tribe among the worst of their kind and have amassed piles of teeth in recent years, following the trail of destruction sown by Gruk and Red Waaagh, Kasharak, the Flash, and his split green's rival Gruk's own tribe in size and status. And then we have a little bit by Waaagh, Gaskul. The Green Tide. The orcs have been a threat since before the earliest days of the Imperium, but the close of the 41st millennium marks an unprecedented surge in green skin activity. The galaxy trembles as the great Waaagh echoes throughout the star Great Waaagh. The ripples of the Great Waaagh are expanding throughout the galaxy as their epicenter stands one orc, the self-proclaimed prophet of Gork and Mork. Gaskell Mag Uruk Thraka claims to be guided by visions of the orc gods, yet the incredible destruction he has wrought so far may be just the beginning. Beautiful figurines of the orcs. Orc warbands. An orc army gathered for war is an impressive sight, particularly when, as with the split green Bad Moon tribe shown here, its warriors are drawn from the same clan and bear the same colors and iconography. Forces of the Orcs. The following section details background and rule informations that describes the forces used by the Orcs, their warriors, their vehicles, and their characters that lead them to battle. The Warboss. An Orc Warboss is the strongest, toughest, loudest, and most violent orc in his tribe. And a weird boy. Weird boys are the most physically attuned of all orcs. They are capable of vomiting blasts of warp energy that can reduce foes to molten goop in seconds. We have the mech and the big mech. Painboy, Mad Duck, Grotsnick. Captain, Badrock, and Boss, Sexstruck. Boys and Gretchens. Burna Boys and Tankbusters. Nobs, Mega Nobs. I'm really getting so old, I'm saying that once again. Commandos, Boss, Snickrot. Truck, Storm Boys. Death Coppers, Takajet. Burna Bomber, Blitzer Bomber. Warbikers, War Buggies. Mech Gun, beautiful figure. Death Dread and Kilagans. Gorgonaut and Morganaut. Lutas, Flash Kits. Gaskell Thraka. Here is Gaskell. Maguruk Thraka is a mighty prophet of the Waaagh. He is the single most influential orc in the galaxy, and billions of greenskins march to war in his name. Then we have a Stompa. And some more warbands. Appendix. This section of the book details many of the rules for using an orc army in your games of Warhammer 40,000, including their unique special rules, warlord traits, war gear and psychic powers. This was a super fun, a little bit shorter Warhammer 40,000 Codex here on my channel. I had a blast making this video, and I do think I will be getting some orcs figures. I really enjoy this aspect of Warhammer 40,000. If you're interested in supporting my channel, please check out my Patreon, where I upload weekly exclusive ASMR content for only $5 a month. That is the best way to support my channel at the moment, since I do not have any other social medias right now. Thank you all so very much for watching this video. I love you guys so